I did not abandon Islam. I did not abandon anything that I had in my faith, but I abandoned only one part, which is the hate part. The hate towards Jews, the hate towards Christians, for being Jews or for being Christians. This hate that is indoctrinated, it's so hard to expunge it unless you have the courage.
For centuries, there has been strife and arguments and wars between so many Jews and Muslims. And we are living in a time where that is still going on. But fortunately, we're living in a time where there is a lot of peace. If you go to the UAE, you will see how so many Muslims are embracing whichever religion. It doesn't make a difference who you are. And one of the most powerful voices in the Muslim community today is Loay Shareef. And I know I am not pronouncing his name properly. I am sounding like an American person, but the conversation that I had with him was inspiring and empowering to see someone so supportive of the Jewish people. And during this time where we definitely feel alone, there's people like Loay is the reason that we feel encouragement for the future. This episode is in memory of Shimon David ben Yaakov Shleima, as well as Miriam Sarbas Yaakov Moshe. You will hear about the amazing opportunities you could have from hiring for less, how it will transform your business. You will hear about Tuileries' brand new air suit, which is so cozy and comfy no matter what environment you're in. You will hear about the incredible success that we've had with the Tefillin campaign and how the soldiers of Israel are so proud to wear Tefillin. And you, of course, will hear about our friends at Kol Chabad, and they are helping Israel's neediest. Here is my conversation with Loay. I'm Yaakov Langer, and you're listening to Inspiration for the Nation. This is the first time I'm having a Muslim guest on our show, so thank you so much for being our first Muslim guest.
A real pleasure, Yaakov.
Okay, so I want to get your name right. Loay. Am I saying it properly, or I sound like an American?
So, mostly my American friends disastrously pronounce my name. So, you said it right, but when it comes in, when we converse, Loay, it's like, so you can call me Louis.
Okay.
I said in the US, so many of my friends call me Louis. So you can call me Louis. But in Arabic, it's Loay.
Loay.
Yeah, you see.
Okay.
Disastrous.
Yeah, Louis. Maybe we'll stick with Louis.
Louis is good.
Okay.
Or Lawi. Lawi is the Hebrew version of the of Loay.
Okay, so I'm apologizing before that I'm going to butcher your name a bunch during this interview.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
So could you tell us about your background, where you're from, and what your childhood was like?
So I was born and raised in Saudi Arabia to a family that is half Saudi, half Egyptian. I was raised in Saudi schools. I lived most of my life in Saudi Arabia, and I grew up in a way that is very different from the person I am right now talking to you, Yaakov. So, but let me just highlight one important thing. Let's say the positivity. Mm-hmm. The curricula in Saudi Arabia now is changing, alhamdulillah. And also in the Gulf, changing to the better. I don't know if it's changing to the better in Egypt or not, but I do hope so. But the good thing is that the curricula now is moving towards more tolerant way of seeing non-Muslims, especially the Jewish people. But I was born in the 80s, so I don't want to say exactly which year because, okay, well, I'll just say it.
Okay.
So it was like the curricula at that time was filled with information that would make you anti-Jewish. Mm. Or you would look to the Jews in a way that is not so friendly. So this is how I was raised. So it's like the idea that in school we were taught that many different things about the Jewish people. And it was like you are indoctrinated with this kind of information when you were a kid. So unfortunately, this is what happened. Mm. But things later changed in a later step. In 2010, I was 27 at that time. Now I'm 40, so I exposed my real age.
Okay.
Do I look 40?
No, you don't look 40.
Thank you.
You sound like you're wiser than 40, but you don't look 40 years old.
Okay, thank you so much.
Sure.
So when I wanted to study French, so I did something called a homestay program, and in the homestay program, the school puts me with a Jewish French family. So I wanted to end up learning French, but instead I ended up learning Hebrew and Judaism. So it was a good experience. And 13 years ago, I really changed. I remember that 2010 was the year that I changed. And when I say I changed, to be very honest, Yaakov, I want to clarify one thing. I did not abandon Islam. I did not abandon anything that I had in my faith, but I abandoned only one part, which is the hate part. The hate towards Jews, the hate towards Christians, for being Jews or for being Christians. This hate that is indoctrinated, it's so hard to expunge it unless you have the courage. If you have the courage to expunge it, you will succeed. Because when I dealt with the family, and when you traveled and we dealt with Jews in France, you come to know and say, but we have scripts that say, or we have scriptures or texts that say that these people are bad, these people are evil, these people have fangs. But when you deal with them, you find them good people. So you are in an inner battle. Your soul is having an inner battle between the texts and the reality. Some people choose to succumb to the text and say, "Halas, I'll just be with the herd." But others choose to say, "You know what? I'll believe what my eyes are telling me." So I decided to believe what my eyes are telling me, and I expunged hate when I was 27. I really changed to a better person. I do hope so. So 2010 was a transformative year in my life. And from that year till now, I've been learning a lot. And alhamdulillah, I'm hoping to be a better person every year.
That's incredible. What was like for you personally, the hardest part about doing that? Like, I'm sure there was
the inner battle.
Mm-hmm.
The inner battle between everything you learned about, for example, Jews and Christians, but just specifically, let's just focus on Jews. That you were taught that because of a handful of Jews who were mistreating Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that means that I should hate Jacob or Yaakov in New York, or Micah in Washington, or David in Manhattan. What does this have to do with these individuals? So I remember that in school, when you ask your teacher, "Why do we hate Jews?" "Oh, you know what they did to Prophet Moses. Oh, you know what they did to Prophet Muhammad." What does Micah have to do with this? What does David in New Jersey have to do with this? You know, and then of course you have the falsehood that it says, "Oh, we don't hate Jews, we hate the Zionists," and I will come to that in the proper time. But of course, because we don't know much about the Jewish people, we only know. I will not deny that I had prior knowledge of the Jewish people before 2010, but it was knowledge based on their adversaries, the Muslim scholars who kept criticizing the Jews. They told us that they would be the authentic source to teach us about Judaism, and I found out that this is false. The authentic source of teaching any religion should be from the body of that religion, not from their adversaries. So that was the hardest part, the inner battle. But I managed, I overcome it, and I'm so happy that I did that 13 years ago.
Wow. Okay. And before you're like telling me, like, we're talking about Queen Esther, we're talking about Yeshua. Your knowledge of the Torah is quite vast. Where did that like come from, to the desire to learn? In the journey of learning
the Judaism, I had knowledge, of course, about Judaism and of course about the Torah before that, but it was so biased and it was not very informative. But of course, when you had the passion and when you learned the truth about Judaism, you started to love this history and to love this heritage. And I believe that the Hebrew scripture and the Tanakh, I would say the Tanakh, the Torah and the prophets and the writings were the reason that I really fell in love with Israel as a nation and as a history. You know, the name Israel is a very complicated name. It's the name of Jacob. It's the name of the nation. It's the name of the land. It's the name of the northern kingdom. It's the name of lots of things. So It's a beautiful name, by the way. I always say that to my friends that Jacob was a name chosen by Isaac and Rebecca, but that name was, but the name Israel was chosen by our Creator, by God, and God rarely intervenes to change names. Your name will not be Abram, but Abraham. Your name will not be Sarai, but Sarah. Your name will not be Jacob, but Israel. So very few times God intervenes and changes. So that name was given by God, and we have to respect that, and we have to honor that. And I honor Israel, the modern, the king, the ancient, the people, the land, the Jacob himself, because the name Israel is a very interchanged name in so many contexts.
Wow, very beautifully said. And I want to get back to like Tanakh and Torah because I probably could talk hours with you about that. But I want to talk about more seriously October 7th. And since then, your open condemnation for Hamas and what they've done. And they're like, what do you envision? How do you envision there being some form of peace between Israelis and Palestinians? Like, what could be done?
I absolutely believe that there has to be eventually peace between Israel and Palestinians because I always say that both people belong to the land and no one is going anywhere. The Israelis are not going anywhere. The Palestinians are not going anywhere. But what Hamas did on October 7th was not only abducting women and children and elderly, it was also abducting our religion, or the version of the religion that I hold dear to my heart, which is Islam. Now, I lost friends on October 7th, by the way. I had friends who were in Dubai a couple of days before October 7th, and they were telling me a lot about the Supernova Music Festival. They told me, Loay, there's Balagan, let's go, let's have fun. It's the Supernova Music Festival. And I was joking with them because they were saying that the music festival is like 12 hours, something like that, or 9 hours, starting from 9, ends at 6 or 7. And I was joking and tell them I sleep early, so I'm not your type. But then I found out that they were killed on October 9th. Many of their family members posted something like that, and it was a heinous crime. It was something that is horrible, and it deserved to be condemned. And I'm so happy that the UAE was the first Arab and Muslim country that explicitly condemned Hamas for what they did on October 7th. Now, of course, Yaakov, we mourn the loss of lives of each and every innocent person, whether they were Israelis or Palestinians. That's something very important to say. The Quran and the Talmud, they have the same mitzvah, that if you kill one person, you kill all humanity. If you save one person, you save all humanity. And one is too many. One is too many. So a Palestinian child or a Palestinian woman or a Palestinian kid, their loss is grieved, but also the same applies to the Israelis. What I don't like about what I see in the Arab media is that no one is mentioning anything about the Israeli kids or the Israeli elderly being abducted or killed or heinously raped in the Supernova Music Festival just because they were Jews. Just because they were Jews. So that's... But the way forward has to be peace. Peace is the only way. It's our only option. And we have to invest, Jake... I was going to say Jacob, which is Yaakov, but we have to invest in education. The most important thing that we need to do after the war is investing in education, educating people to be a better version of themselves, educating Muslims not to hate Jews, to teach them that there is nothing called eternal enmity between Muslims and Jews. This is something very important for your viewers to know also, that there is nothing called eternal enmity between Muslims and Jews. I'm worried about the next generation of Muslims, young Muslims, who will grow up with the idea that Jews are our eternal enemy. Or maybe Jewish kids who will grow up with, we cannot trust the Muslims because they view us as enemies. If you have two people from different religions believe that they are the enemies of each other just because they were born differently, I tell you, this is Satan's plan, not God's plan. Not God's plan.
It's so ironic because from all the religions, I hear about, all the, I don't know if it's called rules, but whatever halachas that you have, you pray 5 times a day. We pray 3 times a day. We have Yom Kippur, you have Ramadan, and, we have Hashem, you have Allah, and it's the same God.
You have Allah is Eloha also.
Mm-hmm.
Allah is Elohim.
Wow.
Yeah, we have so many things in common.
So many things in common. We have the same God, basically. I mean, with the difference between Muslims and Jews with Christianity, there's so many, but like there's so much commonality between us.
True. And if you look at the scriptures, if you look at the commonalities, you will just come and say, why are we fighting? Really, I remember I watched a clip of a Hamas militant storming into a house of an Israeli, and he wasn't able to communicate with them in Hebrew, in Arabic, or in English. In Arabic, because they don't speak Arabic. He doesn't have any knowledge of English, and he doesn't speak Hebrew. I was saying that, imagine that fighter was knowledgeable of Hebrew or the scriptures, and imagine that he was knowledgeable of the commonalities. He wouldn't dare to kill these people, because you know what I'm telling you this, because I had a discussion with a friend who was telling me that we have King David says something about God, that he doesn't sleep nor slumber. I told him we have the same thing in the Quran. There's a very famous verse called Ayat al-Kursi, the verse of the chair, the throne of God. So the throne of God, this verse, it says, Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum. God is the only God. There is no deity other than him. He doesn't sleep nor slumber. And you have this exact phrase in Psalm 129. Hine lo yanum velo yishan shomer Yisrael. He doesn't sleep nor slumber, the protector of Israel. If you are a person who has this knowledge and the understanding of the commonalities, you would absolutely understand that Muslims and Jews in particular, not only they're not enemies, they should unite together in an alliance that would change the world. But this is not the case, unfortunately, and I believe education should play a big role in that.
It's funny, but we actually believe that, at least according to the Torah, that there is, just how like Isaac and Ishmael, by the end of their lives, they got up and they're like, okay, they
buried Abraham.
Exactly, and they became brothers, which they were. That we believe in the end of times, whenever that is, that Islam and Jews will unite,
reconcile.
Yeah,
I do wish for that. I am someone who knows where the hate comes from, and I know how to tweak some of these factors to make a better version of understanding and of bringing Muslims and Jews closer together.
It's really beautiful.
It's doable. It's really doable, and it has to be.
It's the only way. It's the
only way.
We'll be right back this week's episode, and very good moments are coming up. But I need to tell you about two things. First of all, if you have a business or you're starting a business, one of the biggest obstacles is your payroll, the paying your employees. And you want to have the best employees that you could have. That's why hiring for less, for just $7 an hour. Yes, you heard me right. I didn't say $17 an hour. $7 an hour. You could have a dedicated person, a dedicated employee, 9 to 5. They are overseas, but they could work on your hours, on your schedule. Talented, good people, whether you need, I don't know, a secretary, graphic designer, architect, whatever it is that you need in your business, you could use hiring for less. And what's so good about them is their desire to help your business. So often when someone hires someone, they have to train them in. They don't know if they're good. They're paying them a lot of money, and then they're not good. Hiring for less takes care of that for you. They go ahead and staff you with the right people in the right position in your business to help you grow. And if you cut down your payroll by around 75%, that is very good for your business, and it'll take you to new heights. And you might be worried, like, okay, but are they really committed? Do they really care about me? They do. They speak great English and they do great work. And over thousands of businesses are using hiring for less. But not just that. For your first week, if you go ahead and tell them the code Living L'Chaim when you speak to them on the phone or email them, they'll give you 50% off. So 50% off, $7 an hour. It's an incredible deal. So go ahead and let them know that you heard about them hiring for less on Living L'Chaim and try them out. What do you have to lose? There's no commitments. It's not like one of these things, oh, sign up for a year. No, none of that. They believe, hiring for less believes that you will love them so much that you could go ahead and try them, test them out, test the waters, see how much you will love them, and they will do whatever they can to ensure you that their employees will be your employees and you'll be so happy. It's totally risk-free. So go ahead, you can WhatsApp them, you could call them, you could email them, you could call them at 845-682-0990. Of course, we'll have the link and phone number in the show notes. You could also send them an email, info@hiring4less.com. That's info@hiring4less.com. And your business will reach new heights. Now, right before we get back in this week's episode, I want to tell you about the mission that we were on the past few weeks and how we blew it out of the water. Basically, Israel Select Charity Fund was, together with Rabbi Josh Friedman, raising tefillin for the soldiers in the army. We saw a giant need from people in the army. Some people who've never worn tefillin in their life asking for tefillin. And we're about to reach the goal, but there is a new opportunity. Over 1,500 new soldiers saw the 2,500 that we've helped get tefillin for, and they said, we understand that this is the shmira. This is one of the shmiras that we have, wearing tefillin. And so many of them, you'll see some of them, they're wearing tzitzis, but they're not wearing a yarmulke, but they want to wear tefillin, and they are guaranteeing for the rest of their lives, they will wear tefillin. So you've helped so much until now, but if you haven't yet, or even if you did, you want to go ahead and help fund a new pair of tefillin for just $500. They got, obviously we're buying a lot of pairs of tefillin, so you get a good price when you could buy a lot. For $500, you could get a pair of tefillin for a soldier who will wear it for the rest of their life, Amir Tashem, until 120, and they will wear it proudly. And what's happened is we bought tefillin for so many, and so many more want tefillin. They need tefillin, and you could buy. And by the way, you could buy one pair of tefillin for $500. Donate $500 to the link in the show notes. But you could also say, I want to sponsor Platoon. If you have the money, kol kavod, buy 10, 20 pairs of tefillin. There's no limit to it. Go ahead, support them as much as you can. And the link in the show notes, you will see there. Right now that I'm doing this, it's Hanukkah. We're looking to the light of Hanukkah. Well, there's another light that we could have every single day, and that's the light of the tefillin, literally making a Kiddush Hashem and helping protect our soldiers. So you could go and click on the link below. If you're just listening to this and you don't want to click on the link, I'll spell it out for you. It's thechesedfund.com/IsraelSelect/tefillin !AFF equals LL, because that's the affiliate link, so they can know how many people are coming through Living L'Chaim. And yeah, it's the most powerful weapon against Hamas. It is tefillin by Israel Select. So go ahead, open your hearts, and help our soldiers wear these holy pairs of tefillin. Now back to my conversation with Loay. So in the past recent years, something that one of the good things that happened in the world, thanks to Jared Kushner and his entire team, in the UAE, the Abraham Accords, which has been like literally revolutionary, like something that I don't think many people could have even anticipated. And since October 7th, we're not sure, maybe the attacks were to maybe stop the progression of the Abraham Accords. Like, where do you see that? Do you see it getting better, getting worse?
Yeah, you see, every war since 2020 was a setback. But of course, this one is a war, not just a battle like what happened in 2021. Yeah, there are setbacks, but the accords themselves, I don't see that they will be affected. I'll tell you why. Because their foundation is solid. Their foundation is a Middle East where Arabs and Israelis live together, Muslims and Jews collaborate together, reconciliation of Judeo-Islamic relations. So the foundation is so strong. And yeah, there might be some potholes on the way, but it will not fall. I don't see it this way. And many officials in the UAE, the country that made peace with Israel and the country that I'm residing and I'm based in, and by the way, it's really a paradise. If you come to it and you see how Muslims and Jews or Arabs and Israelis live side by side, you will not believe. It's the example of how a Muslim country should look like, thanks to the leadership, of course, of the UAE and Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, the president. So in short, I don't think there is a direct jeopardy of what's for the Abraham Accords or its future, but it's challenging. This is why we need to roll up our sleeves and work harder. And but this is the beauty of it.
Very well said. So you touched on this before, that there's definitely, if you grow up Muslim, there's often that feeling that that you'll adopt maybe of like the hatred for Jews, and likewise for Jews. You might, go to yeshiva and you might be told, oh yeah, Muslims hate us, so we're going to hate them back. What advice would you have for Jews, meaning coming from the shoes that you're in, so we can understand that like there is a way of peace here and love?
So my advice for those Jews is that if you believe, I would say the same advice for Muslims. If you believe that you are ordered to hate someone because he's different from your faith and you think it's coming from God, it's not. It's not. We are all created on God's image. So we should not hate each other for our differences in religions. We should understand and learn more about each other. I'm asking the Jews to learn more about Islam, the moderate Islam, to learn more about the Prophet Muhammad, how he constituted the constitution of Medina, and how he treated the Jews of a tribe, it's called Bani Auf, as they were part of the alliance he formed in Medina. But of course, I know very well that things did not turn good eventually, but at least we have something that we can base our efforts on. The most important thing is that Jews have to know that there is nothing called eternal enmity between Muslims and Jews. This is what I'm trying to tell my Arab audience and my Muslim audience. If you believe that there is an enmity which is eternal, then khalas, you should just make the entire world as your enemy. Nothing is called eternal enmity. This is something that the Jewish people have to know, and this is something that Muslims also have to know.
You've been going around for years now, going to college campuses and universities, speaking there. Can you tell me about that work?
Yeah, I do lots of public speaking. I love public speaking. So
you're a good speaker.
Thank you so much. So I decided to use my talent and my influence for the good, not for the bad. I would never use my influence to incite people to hate each other. I would never use my talents to incite people to do some violence. That is something that I would never do. I will always use my voice and my talent and my influence to bring people together, especially Muslims and Jews, since I'm a very pro-peace with Israel and I'm very pro-Abraham Accords. So what I'm trying to do is that I believe the battle in our current time is social media and campuses. And unfortunately, there is lots of hate towards Israel and towards the Jewish people, and also towards the misunderstanding of Islam and towards the ignorance of knowledge that we both have for each other. So this is what I'm trying to clarify, and what I'm trying to tell the students about. Tell them that. Many commonalities. There are many commonalities between Muslims and Jews, and I give them some examples, and that peace is the only way, and violence would never bring peace to the region. Denying the right of the Jewish people in their ancestral homeland, that the Jews are indigenous to this land, is something very important, and to debunk lies and refute claims with facts. This is what I do on my social media. And by the way, I dedicate my social media for this. So I see people change, Yaakov.
Wow.
It's hard, but I see people change. I have people that I work with who have changed. Like a couple of years ago, they were not like that. But when they came to Dubai, and when I showed them the Dubai Expo, and I told them, let's go to the Israeli pavilion. Let me just show you around. And they said, Loay, well, we dealt with some Israelis there. Yeah, it's fine. Like, maybe we can do business together, you see. So the influence I will direct it to changing people to the better versions of themselves, and I believe this is one of the mitzvah. It's called Tikkun Olam.
Yeah,
it's like healing the world. Michael Jackson was influenced by this. This is why he made the song "Heal the World, Make It a Better Place for you and for me and the entire human race." So we are doing part of the Tikkun Olam, not because we serve Israel. Not because we work for Israel, not because we are Mossad agents being paid by Mossad. Even though when some people tell me this, I tell them, yeah, I get paid a lot by my Israeli friends. 2 stacks of bamba every week. 2 stacks of bamba every week getting paid. That's a good payment. And now they're sending me khalva and stuff. Yeah, it's like, so, no, we're doing this for the sake of a brighter Middle East. Of a new Middle East where Muslims and Jews, Arabs and Israelis live side by side and build it and thrive it and make it flourish.
That's really beautiful. That's incredible. What's life like where you live?
In Abu Dhabi,
Yeah.
it's paradise.
Yeah.
No matter how I tell you about Abu Dhabi, of course, Dubai also, because my friends now from Dubai will just say, Loay, you have to talk about Dubai. Dubai, the UAE in general is a paradise, but it will not hit you in the head unless you come by yourself and see it. I am so happy and proud to live in the UAE, especially Abu Dhabi. Abu Dhabi is so special, so magical. It's a family city. I call it a family. Abu Dhabi is like Loay. It sleeps early. 10 p.m. everything's closing, and Dubai is like the Balagan.
Mm-hmm.
So Dubai is Tel Aviv, Abu Dhabi is Jerusalem. You know, Abu Dhabi, but it's magical. The combination of Islam that Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, the president of the UAE, did. I wrote a tweet about it, or a post, since now it's not a tweet,
Right,
it's a post on X. I wrote a post about it, that the combination that this president made is magical. No hate speech, no tolerance for extremism, freedom of worship. This is something very important, Yaakov, because you as a Jew can come to the UAE and you can do all of your prayers in the synagogue of Rambam, Rabbi Moshe ben Maimun. And you also have several other synagogues. Or you as a Christian can come and pray in the church. And as a Muslim also, we have the mosque. This is what the Abrahamic family house is all about. And you would never be judged based on your race, color, religion, ethnicity in the UAE. Hate speech is criminalized. Everyone knows their limits. This is why you have 200 plus nationalities live in that country. But it's a paradise, but without you coming, you will never understand the magnitude of what I'm telling you.
Okay,
You're definitely coming.
I'm coming, and we're gonna chill there. We're gonna have a good time.
And I want to tell you one thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sure.
I really had to say this. Many of my Jewish friends, when I told them, because I have a PR company in Abu Dhabi, and sometimes I take some people for tours and stuff, also with collaboration of other companies. So I when I take some Jewish people when I take some of my Jewish friends to the Sheikh Zayed Mosque, they come to me and whisper, Loay, I don't want to go to the mosque. I said, why? No, the mosque is a place of, they hate us and they don't want to go to the mosque. Loay, let's go somewhere else. Tell them, this is not Sheikh Zayed Mosque. Come to Sheikh Zayed Mosque. And so the moment they come, they fall in love with it. Oh, thank you for bringing me here. So this is why I'm telling you, the model of Islam in the UAE is progressive, is pro-modernity, prosperity. It would never encourage violence. It would never support extremism. The model of the UAE, it has tolerance for every single religion, except tolerance for extremism. That's the beauty of it.
It's really beautiful. We'll be back to this week's episode, but I have to tell you about two things that happened. I just had a conversation with a very influential philanthropic Jew, and he was telling me how sad he is. He was saying how he's been doing his work, risking what he's been doing in his life, and also just donating as much as he can to the people of Israel. And he got very sad because a lot of his friends have a lot of money. And he was saying, hey, by the way, we need to help our soldiers in this way. We need to help the people of Israel in this way. They don't have the refugee. And they said, listen, I already gave money and that's it. And he was venting to me how sad he is because you know what? We have this opportunity to help the neediest people in Israel. And maybe we helped 2 months ago, maybe we helped 2 weeks ago. It doesn't stop there. The war hasn't stopped yet. And the people in need are still in need. That's why Kol Chabad, who's been around for more than 100 years, it's been their mission to help Israel's neediest, but now more than ever, they could use your help. You could go to kolchabad.org/living l'chaim or just kolchabad.org and go ahead and help the widows of Israel, the misplaced people of Israel, the orphans of Israel, or just the people that don't have enough funds to put food on the table or to clothe their bodies with proper clothing or proper shelter or just feeling the decency of being a human being. So if you want to go ahead and help the Israel's most needy people, Go to kolchabad.org/living l'chaim. Open your hearts. I know that you've been giving, and I know that there's a lot of places to give, but we know it's a guarantee that if you help the people that Kol Chabad is helping, it is a bracha that Hashem should help you also. They're an established, good place to give. And if you've already given, give a little more. If you haven't given yet, now's the time to open your hearts. And in the merit of you opening your hearts, Hashem should open his heart to you and to your family, and Zchus should end this war. Now, we'll be right back this week's episode, but let me tell you, I've worn, I don't know, over 100 pairs of suits in my life. I've never worn a suit like the suit I am wearing right now, and that is called the ear suit, okay? I will show you. I'm going to step up and go to the camera. This suit is the lightest suit I've ever worn. This new technology, basically, if you hold it up, I'm going to hold it up over here to the lights. It is see-through. I'm going to go closer to the camera. Okay, so that suit is right next to it. Boom. It's see-through. But when you put the suit on you, and right now I'm just wearing the blazer, I wore the suit on Shabbos. When you put the suit on you, even if you're wearing a white shirt, whatever it is, the color, it just looks like you're wearing the whatever color. This is a dark blue suit. It's a navy suit. So what happens is most guys I know are sweating because I don't know why shul is so hot, or during the summer months, it is so hot. It's always hot. It's always hot in suits. Wool is very hot. This suit breathes. And I actually wore it. It was pretty cold on Shabbos, but it didn't let the cold air in. But it let me, and I'm not even a person who sweats a lot. I felt so comfortable. It feels like I'm wearing legitimately like sweatpants on my arms now. And most importantly, my wife saw me in the suit. She didn't know that Twillery is sending me the suit. And she's like, wow, that's such a nice suit. When did you get it? And I'm like, oh, I just got it in the mail. She's like, wait, is this Twillery? I'm like, yep. She's like, they did it again. So Twillery's ear suit, it is very well priced, great quality. Obviously, I just got it, so I can't tell you it lasted me for 5 years like the pants do. But I'm sure the quality is incredible. This is the next suit that you need. I know it's not your conventional, typical suit. It's not your tuxedo, but this is a suit that everyone needs in their homes. No matter what, break glass in case of emergency. Go to Twillery.com. Of course, you will get $18 off with the code word INSPIRE if you have not used our code yet. For new customers, spend over $139. This suit is over $139. Go ahead and buy the blazer, the pants, and have your Shabbosim or any event that you wear a suit to transformed. Now back to my conversation with Loay. So, I mean, you coming on this podcast, and honestly, me just following your social media since October 7th, and even before October 7th, it's a very scary time for Jews, or just the world in general. And me personally seeing your social media and what you have to say and just trying to unify the world is really, it gives me hope and also makes me feel safe. But me and other Jews, like we appreciate it, but like, what could we also do? Because we don't want to just be on the sidelines. We want to be a part of that. What would you suggest that we Orthodox Jews or just Jews in general could do?
First of all, follow my account.
Okay.
And put a
like. The link will be in the show notes.
And put a like on every single post.
Okay, fair enough.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah, fair enough.
No, I really wanted to say to my Jewish friends that they should know that the children of Ishmael got your back. You're not alone in this. And if we don't speak up in the times of hardship, we should shut up in the times of prosperity. So thank you so much for your support. And if there's anything they can do, I would love them to contact me via email. I have my email. We have lots of work coming, and we can discuss the details in the email because we have so many things to do, inshallah. And I believe we have ambitious plans in the coming future in social media and on campuses to change people's minds and hearts. They can reach me on my email.
Yeah, what is it?
For any types of support. It's LOAY at LALSHAREEF.com. And by the way, I want to tell you one thing, Yaakov. It's that the Jewish people have been through a lot. They survived Pharaoh, Achashverosh, Antiochus Epiphanes, and Hitler. And they will survive also this one. And the thing also I want to say, when I see people get to my DMs and get to my Snapchat and get to my Instagram with slurs, with insults and stuff, one of my friends told me, Loay, how can you handle this? I have like 2,000 followers, and when people attack me, I feel like, khalas, I just wanna disappear. How can you handle this? I told him I handle this wisely, because don't forget, Yaakov, I was in their shoes. I used to think like that. I used to say everything they said about the Jews, or about this hate that is encompassed in their chests. I know exactly where it comes from. And I have the key to expunge that hate and take it out of their chests. I have the key. If they're willing to listen, I know how to get this out. And I don't get mad. I don't get angry, because I really want to change them to the best. I do the change in the way that the UAE does it. The UAE would never tell you this is right or this is wrong. The UAE would tell you this is our model. It makes us successful, and we will amplify it, without telling that other models are wrong. This is a very indirect, smart way of telling people that this is wrong and this is right. I give people a model that you should never hate a person for their color, race, ethnicity, or for what they are, and you should expunge this pathological creed, and you should be a better person and a human first and foremost.
Really, really, really powerful and beautiful. Okay, towards the end of all my interviews, I like to ask people a few, I call them fun questions. So I want to ask them to you as well. If there's one person from history that you could sit down with for an hour, maybe go for lunch with, just schmooze with them, talk to them, who would it be?
Well, we are now approaching the best Jewish holiday in the calendar. You know what that is? It's Hanukkah.
Okay, yeah, I know what it is.
But Hanukkah is not just a Jewish Christmas, like so many people think. The story behind Hanukkah is so inspirational. So I would love to have dinner with Yehuda Maccabi, because the way Yehuda Maccabi stood against Antiochus Epiphanes, or Antichos, it was brave, and it was a source of inspiration. Antiochus, he wanted to Hellenize Israel, because 2,100 years ago, there were Jews in Israel. Can you believe that? Those who say Jews are not alien. Anyway, so he wanted to Hellenize Israel, and he wanted to vandalize Beit HaMikdash by bringing Jupiter, or Zeus, the idol, into Beit HaMikdash. And Yehuda Maccabi rejected that, and he said, this is the biggest offense to the most important thing that we hold dear to our heart, which is monotheism. The Israelite monotheism is the biggest gift that God gave to the Jewish people. Monotheism, worshiping God and only God. So Yehuda revolted against that. Yehuda and his father Matthias. So it was an amazing story, and the fact that he wanted to light the candle with an oil that is only sufficient for one night, and it ended up lighting up for 7 days and 8 days and 8 nights. It's magical and it's miraculous. And it has a lot to say. So I would love to sit with Yehuda and tell me more, Yehuda. Other than the books of the Maccabees, tell me more about what happened with the Antiochus Epiphanes.
It's a really beautiful answer. Okay, so I also ask people, out of the 613 mitzvahs, if someone has a favorite mitzvah. Do you have a favorite mitzvah?
Of course. כבד את אביך ואת אמך, יאריכון ימיך על האדמה אשר אדוני אלוהיך נותן לך. Honor your father and mother. My father passed away, so my mother now is the blessing of my life, and I believe that because of her, God is giving me lots of gifts in this world, and honoring in Islam also, honoring the parents is something very important. We have a verse that says, وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ بِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. God has commanded that you worship Him alone, and honoring your mother, your parents. So He associated that honoring with His worship. So it's a big deal. So that's my favorite mitzvah.
Okay, beautiful answer.
And tikkun olam also. I said it before.
Yeah, you said tikkun olam. Hey, my problem with you, everything you're saying, I just responding beautiful answer, because they're all beautiful answers. I got to come up with like a different thing to say. Is there one story that either happened in your life or you heard it, you saw it, you read about it that gives you inspiration, gives you chizek?
So lots of stories, but to be very honest, the Bible stories, I take them very seriously. I know that some people just look at them as or view them as stories, but to me, they're not just stories. I take them very, very seriously. And there is a character in the Bible that I love so much. All of them, of course. The pious characters, of course. Even the pious kings. When we say the pious, I mean those who did not, how to say, I don't want to say deviate, but those who did not, gone astray in a very wrong way. But Joshua bin Nun is someone that I really love so much, and the way that God reaffirmed that he would stand with him if he was courageous enough gives me hope.
Interesting.
Because Joshua bin Nun, when he, after the 40 years of the people of Israel, or the children of Israel, they were sentenced to live in the Sinai desert, because the story, right? It was when Moses sent 12 spies and 10 spies returned with a report that we cannot enter the land, we cannot take it from the Canaanites. So God punished them for 40 years in the desert. 2 spies were insisting to enter the land. Joshua bin Nun from the tribe of Ephraim bin Yusuf, or bin Yusuf in Arabic, and Caleb bin Yefunne from the tribe of Yehuda. So only Joshua and Caleb entered the land, by the way. But when Joshua wanted to enter the land, he was a bit hesitant that the next generation of Israelites would fail him, just like the previous generation failed Moses. So God told him, that's one of my favorite verses in the entire Hebrew Bible. Halot seveticha, haven't I commanded you? Hazak v'ametz, be strong and courageous. Because I am the Lord your God, will be with you wherever you go. So the idea that God is assuring his slaves that I will be with you wherever you go, but you have to be courageous, is an inspiration for us to be courageous, just like Joshua, so that God would inspire us to do even more.
Incredible.
Rabbi Loay Shareef. You've been with Rabbi Loay Shareef.
We should get you on like Torah anytime, giving like Shareef and stuff. This is good. Before I get to my last question, is there any organization in particular that you'd want to plug before I ask the last question?
There's an organization called the Vision of Abraham, and if you want to contact me, and I will give you the details. But this is the organization that represents me here in the US.
Okay, incredible. And we'll have a link in the show notes about them. What's your message for everyone watching, listening? It could be the Jews, the Muslims, the Christians, the atheists, whoever, everyone watching. What's your message to them?
My message is very crystal and clear. Lo yasa goy el goy harav, velo yelmidu ad milhama. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, they shall learn war no more. Take it from someone who's been in this journey, changing from someone who hated Jews and Christians and others to someone who really found the beauty of God when you love your fellow human being, even if they were different from you, even if they were from different religions, from different faiths, the moment that you expunge hate and the moment that you realize the similarities and work on these similarities, wallah, you become a better human being. And you see that you're doing good to humanity. Let's do good to humanity and end hate. Let's do good to humanity and bring Muslims and Jews closer together. When I say Muslims and Jews, Yaakov, I don't mean to exclude Christians. Of course, include everyone. Include even those who don't have faith. But I'm just focusing on Muslims and Jews because of the commonalities we have, because I'm very expert on these religions. Let's bring Muslims and Jews closer. Let's bring Arabs and Israelis closer. Let's build a new Middle East. A Middle East where it becomes even better than Europe for everyone to flourish. Let's support the prosperous, thriving culture rather than the culture of death and those who worship death. Let's hope that our children and grandchildren do not see the the catastrophes that our fathers and forefathers have seen. That's my message.
Rabbi Loay, thank you very much for coming here and doing this. And I know
Lowy now it should be.
And I know it's past your bedtime. Like, it's pretty late over here, and you're probably jet lag also. So thanks.
No, I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much, Yaakov. And I hope my message gets across your audience.
Yes. Mirch Hashem.
Inshallah.
Mirch Allah.
Inshallah. Bezrat Hashem.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Loay, for having this conversation. If you got this far in the episode, whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify or Apple, go ahead in the comment section and let us know that you watched this, and leave the words, peace is here. Those 3 words, peace is here. And I gotta send a special thank you to my friends at Visions of Abraham. If you don't know, which you probably do, but Visions of Abraham is a nonprofit organization which works to expand and deepen the Abraham Accords. For more information, go to visionsofabraham.com. This interview would not have been able to be set up without their help, and it's incredible what they're doing in the Middle East. And if you are not following Loay on Twitter or Instagram or wherever you consume social media, go ahead and follow him. You'll see links in the show notes to follow him. If you have a business and you are in need, you probably are in need of expanding your business with the right people, go to Hiring for Less. If you would love to contribute to the people of Israel, go to kolchabad.org. If you can donate tefillin, go ahead and click in the link in the show notes. 1 pair of tefillin, 1,000 pairs of tefillin, whatever it is, go ahead. And if you want to step up your game and feel comfortable on Shabbos or just any event that you go to, go ahead and check out Twillory's fantastic air suit. So comfy, so cozy. And if you enjoyed this conversation, it is very different from any conversation I've ever had in my entire experience of podcasting. Go ahead and share this with your Jewish brothers and sisters, your Muslim brothers and sisters, your Christian brothers and sisters, whoever it is in your life that could see this conversation. I'm very proud to stand next to Loay and have this conversation together. We're 2 people from different worlds, but we have the same goal in mind. We want peace, we want no more war, and we want to see this world be a better place. And we're hopeful. It might be scary at times, and we might seem hopeless at times, but there is unity in the world. There's also a lot of arguing and war and terror, but there is unity as well, and we want to focus on that, and we want to perpetuate that. Until next time, keep on being inspirational. L'chaim. Living L'chaim.